Okay. Have you got enough internet there to turn on your camera, Curt?
You want my camera on?
Sure.
All right.
There you are. Fantastic. Okay, so welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to get on the call. So I think tonight will be pretty valuable. But before we get started with the main topic, I wanted to share just a few updates and just let you know what's happening. So the new product, which is the Stemolytic product, and let me share a picture just for you, for everyone on the call. Let's see here. So this is the new product. This is a picture of it. So it's called Stemolytic. It says on the bottle that it's a Senolytic Super 7 supplement, and there's 45 capsules in the bottle, which we can see from that. We don't have a price yet.
That's the old bottle. It's actually Super 9. Tom changed the formula from that label.
Super 9. It's no surprise he added an extra 2 ingredients since they took the photo. So it'll be called the Super 9.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So
I'll get you the new label. Sorry.
Oh, okay, fantastic. So they had a big conference in Pennsylvania on the weekend where they released it officially in the United States. However, they did say to the people in the US they won't be available till Wednesday their time. Now I think, and I hope, the reason they're actually doing that, and I'll have confirmation from Liesl tomorrow, is that they're trying to release that product at the same time worldwide. So hopefully we should have it this week as well at the same time when they do. So just to let you know, that's the product. If you missed Dr. Curt's presentation and you weren't able to get along, or if you've got guests that you would have liked to have you would have liked to have invited, or that tried to attend and something came up and they couldn't, then please invite them to Dr. Curt's team meeting this weekend. He will be doing a recap of his presentation for anyone who's missed out, so that will be really valuable. The other thing that's happening this weekend is that Tom and Liesl are doing their product training call. So that's for corporate. It's every second week. And they will be covering, let me just do a quick screen share here. Let me do a quick screen share. Ooh. Just had it up a second ago. I might have closed it. Hang on a second, just bear with me. Just stop the share for a second. In a second. Sorry, just trying to bring up this photo so you can see it. Why is that not working? Tick. Oh. There we go. Right, sorry about that. So this pack has just been released. It's on the price list at the moment. And so this pack is, it's kind of like a wellness pack, but it is designed around also helping people with weight loss, weight release, and weight management. And Tom will be going through this weekend these products in detail. So he's going to talk about Age Pill, he's going to talk about Balance D, and he's going to talk about Inner Chi and how these products work together to support somebody who is trying to maintain or lose weight. So this is an awesome call to invite people to, so they can get some more information on these products. So I just wanted to let you know about it. It's a really good price as well. So you've got a single bottle of the Age Pill, Balance D, and Inner Chi for her. So I'll just go back to the screen before. Okay, so So that was something else I just wanted to share. And Dr. Curt's newsletter comes out tomorrow, so please keep an eye out for it in your inbox. If you're not getting the email, please check your spam box and add it to the whitelist, and you can flag it and make sure it's not so it doesn't end up in the spam box. So we've always got important information in there, updates. Dr. Curt shares some really useful tips. So keep an eye out for that. That'll be coming out tomorrow. So I think that was it for the updates. We did have the last Melbourne meeting yesterday. On Sunday, it was in Bundoora. That was very successful. You can see the pictures on Facebook, and so it was really great. So all round, I think Curt's had an awesome trip. Do you want to just share a little bit, Dr. Curt, just to recap on your trip overall and how you think it went? You're on mute. Hang on a second.
I got to unmute myself. Hey, you know, Katie, thanks for having me and helping me organize this. I'll tell you, with the help of all the leaders and all the members that we have, all the business partners that we have across Australia and New Zealand, it really made it a lot of fun for me. Every year I come down here, you know, this is my third time that I've been here, and third year that I've been here. And I'll tell you what, I truly enjoy it. I enjoy myself, and it gets to be a lot of work. You know, yesterday I got back here to the house that I'm renting, and I was just dead tired. I was ready to fall asleep right away, but I had to do some emails, so I forced myself to stay awake and do that. And we had, you know, shared a few laughs with friends down here last night. But yeah, it's been a great trip, and thanks everybody for making it so much fun for me.
Fantastic, great.
I met with about 400 people in the last 3 weeks, Katie.
Wow, 400 people, and that's fantastic. And it's really valuable to meet with people face to face. It's a lot different than, you know, online or via the phone. And I think it adds a lot of value and helps to build that rapport and get to know people better. And I know everyone really appreciate the fact that you've come down here and all the effort and resources you've put into it of your own, you know, your own personal money and all that, which is fantastic. So I want to thank you as well on behalf of everyone. So that's wonderful. The next thing I guess we'll start is we'll jump onto the topic. So Dr. Curt's been sharing a little bit with us recently about prospecting, and he really helped to open some people's eyes, including myself, about, you know, how to talk to people. And I think what was really valuable about that is he shared his own personal experience, some stories, and that, you know, if things had been done differently, that he probably would have changed his decision on a few things, and why he's going to make the following recommendations. So I'm going to hand over to you, Curt, and I've got a few notes here. So if I think of anything, I might prompt you as well while we're talking. And then we'll have a break, or maybe should we share? I'm just deciding who to go first. So Rosalind Saunders is on the call tonight. So thank you, Ros, for joining us. I really appreciate you getting on. Ros has got a really wonderful business testimonial. So Curt, I might get you to talk for a little bit, and then when you think it's a good time, invite Ros to share her story, because I know it fits in with some of the stuff that you're sharing. And I think everyone will get a lot of value out of hearing that.
Okay, perfect.
Great.
I'll try and split it into 2 or 3 segments for you.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay. Well, Katie, you know, again, thanks for having me down, and everybody down here in Australia. I really appreciate everything that you do. It makes it a lot of fun. I remember 2 years ago in 2018 when I came down here, I was just joking about it last night. I came down here and I landed in the airport here in Melbourne, and I'm going through the immigration, and the guy at immigration, he says to me, he said, "Where are you staying?" And I looked at him, I go, "I don't know." And he said, "What do you mean you don't know?" I said, "Well, I'm staying at my friend's house. It's out in Hastings." And he said, "Well, where in Hastings?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "All I've been told is I'm supposed to get on the bus here at the airport, and I'm supposed to go to Frankston, and then he'll pick me up." And he said, and the guy at immigration, he says to me, he said, "Well, you know, who's your buddy?" And I'm like, "Oh, you know what? I only know his first name. I don't even know his last name." And Katie, the guy at immigration, he looks at me, he's like, no, what's your real story? And I'm like, "No, that's my real story." And then finally, after 3 times he questioned me, and I gave him the same story, finally he puts a big check mark on my immigration form. And he said, if you can trust somebody you don't know, he said, I'll let you go.
Wow.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it is. You're lucky he let you in.
Right? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I could have been in quarantine like a dog for 2 months.
Yeah, that
But
would have been unpleasant.
I have to share that because, I've been looking through some old photos today and having some memories of thinking about that. But, Katie, when we're doing network marketing, I think the biggest thing that I try and tell people is, make it real and have fun. Don't try and I'm gonna say it the way I read it, from Eric Worre. Don't be a poser. Don't be somebody that you're trying to pretend to be somebody that you're not, and don't make up stuff. I mean, because it always comes back to haunt you, and that's the big thing, and realize that, I mean, this is a business. It's a real business, and if you treat it like a real business, you're going to be successful. You really will, and it doesn't happen overnight. You hear these stories of people getting started with network marketing, and they'll show their big check that they have, and I'm just going to say that every time I've done some research, when somebody shares their big check, it's not real. They it's maybe they own the company, or maybe they're friends with the guy that owns the company, and it's all been a setup so that they can share a false story with people, and so, prospecting and getting people started is the lifeblood of our business, and really, the prospecting aspect is so important. We talk about inventory. When we look at traditional business, you have startup costs, you have overhead costs, and you can imagine what those are. With a traditional business, with this business, startup costs aren't that bad, and overhead costs aren't that bad. And then with a traditional business, you have to have inventory. You have to have supplies. And I think a lot of people think that when I bring up inventory in network marketing, right away they think, oh, I got to have a bunch of age pills. I've got to have a bunch of, sizzling. I've got to have a bunch of, this and that. And they just imagine, they got to spend thousands of dollars and have a stock room full of products. No, Katie, your inventory is the people on your list, isn't it?
Yeah, it is actually. And that's why
That's
it's so
your
important.
And so when we're talking about prospecting, you always want to be adding new people to your list every single day, and so getting good at prospecting is key to having a good business, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah, it really is. And so, some of us, like me, and I know, some of you laugh at me when I say it. I tell people I'm kind of an introvert. And it really is true. When you don't see me on stage, I keep to myself. I'm not a big people person that way. I grew up in a town of 50 people, and it really is true. So it was difficult for me in my clinic at first. I had to figure out, how do I come out of my shell, and Katie, you've heard me tell this story before. I was told by an industry leader in my chiropractic business. He said the first thing that I need to do is 3 to 4 months before I open up my clinic. He said, I got to go out and I got to meet 5,000 people.
Wow.
I mean, my personality. Can you imagine me walking around town, knocking on doors, and introducing myself to 5,000 people in a 4-month period of time?
Yeah, that would be challenging.
Yeah, it would be for a lot of people, right? Even if you're an extrovert, even if you're a real people person, knocking on that many doors, meeting that many people was difficult. And that's really how I trained myself to be an introvert living in an extroverted world. I knocked on doors. I said, hey, my name is Dr. Curt. I'm opening up a clinic, down the street. And, I just want to stop by and say, hey, if you ever, need my services, this is where I'm going to be. And that kind of got me. So I came out of my shell and I started doing what I do. But I made a list. Everybody that I met, as I walked away from their door, I wrote Katie Larkin, and I wrote, I wrote something down. Loves her dog, really a really good person, really cares about people, keeps her house nice and clean and all these different things. And a lot of like the people I'd meet, they say, "Oh, come on in, have a cup of coffee." And at first I thought, "Oh, that's a good thing. If I have coffee with them, chances are they'll come and visit me in my clinic." And so I found out that I couldn't do that, because if I'm going to meet 5,000 people in 4 months, there's no time to have coffee with everybody.
Right.
Plus, I'd have to go to the bathroom all the time, and they always wanted me to have a donut too. So that's when I started gaining weight. But really, so I called my friend who was the business consultant, and he said, "Curt," he said, "what you got to do is you have to tell people, hey, look, I've got a goal of meeting 50 people today or 100 people today. If I stop and have coffee and donuts with everybody, there's no way that I'll meet my goal. And so instead of me coming in and having coffee and donuts with you today, why don't you come and have coffee with me in my clinic once I get the doors open?"
Well, yeah.
And then I started doing that, and I really did. I didn't quite meet 5,000 people in that 4 month period of time, but I did pretty darn good. And when I opened up my doors in my clinic, the first day I only saw one new patient, and I thought, "Holy cow, did I make the right decision? Maybe I should have gotten a job working for somebody else." And but by the end of the first month, I had the busiest chiropractic clinic in the whole town.
Wow.
And I share that with all of you that are here today, because you think about applying what I had to learn from a traditional business to a network marketing business. Isn't it, wouldn't you say, Katie, it's a lot the same?
Yeah, and it's really interesting because we spoke to a few people over the weekend that have had traditional businesses and have invested a lot of money to start them up, and are aware of like costs of overheads and running and staffing and all those things. And those people really get network marketing because they can easily make a comparison. So yeah, I think that understanding those things and the things that you're talking about do relate back to network marketing. But network marketing obviously has lots of benefits.
Yep. And that's what I found. And and some of you have heard me say that back in my clinic 15 years ago, I hated network marketing. I hated the industry. And I've got my own horror stories on it, and I've shared some of them, but I won't get into that tonight. I'll just really share that when I got started, I think a lot of people think, "Oh, I'm a doctor and I got started because I really enjoyed the products and I really liked what Sizzle had to offer and all those things." And Katie, I'll just be real honest with you. You've heard it before. I needed a way of generating an income. I was in a wheelchair. I'd gotten in a motorcycle wreck. I couldn't walk. The doctor said I might not ever walk again in my life. And I had to figure out a way of generating income to support me and my 3 boys. And so that's how I got started with network marketing. So I was in the industry looking for the right company. And 85% of people that get into network marketing, they do it for the same reason I did. They're looking for a way of generating an extra income. They don't go out looking for a product. They go out and look for a way of making money. And so when you're prospecting, always keep that in mind, that if you're in a room and you got 2 doors and a door on the left, you say, "Hey, go to the door on the left if you want to make more money. Go to the door on the right if you want to get healthier." And even the sick people will go to the door on the left. And they find that 85% of people, 90% of people, depending on what study you read, but they'll go to the door to go in the room and find out how to make more money, because they figure if they make money, they can afford to buy the things to get healthy.
Right.
And so that's how I look at it. And when I'm prospecting, you asked me to share kind of some of the things that you heard me share earlier, this month. And I'll just say that, so I use that when I'm talking to people. I use those numbers when I'm talking to people. And so when I'm looking for somebody, I'll ask them, I'll say, hey, have you ever thought about, when I meet somebody that and I don't prospect everybody. I need to say that first. I don't prospect everybody. I ask questions, and I qualify people, and if they seem like they're a negative person, Katie, you've prospected negative people before. Is it fun?
No.
No, not at all. I mean, because if they're negative today, chances are they're going to be negative tomorrow, and they're going to be negative the next day. And then you meet people that, you hear me talking about money, how money can make you. It's a magnifier. It can make you a good person, or it can make you, or it can make you, if you're a bad person, it'll make you worse. And so you don't want to get those bad people in your business either. So you tend to kind of cull those people off your list as well. But once you find people that you think, hey, that guy's a good fit, or that girl's a good fit, I think they really fit into my business well, then it's really a matter of how do you bring it up in a way where you're not going to chase them away. Because, I think that so many people, when they, one of the amateur things that people do in network marketing is right away, they go, oh, I got this great product you got to look at right away. And to me, if you come up and say that to me, like I had a gal from Texas do that to me this morning already. And she said, oh, we got this great product, and da 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 da. And bottom line is the next thing I expect is they're going to try and sell it to me.
Right.
And I hate people trying to sell stuff to me. I don't mind looking at things, but I don't like being sold. And so I tend to run away from those people. And then, she's emailed me 3 times since then when I said I really wasn't interested. I've got 3 emails from her already today. And if somebody's chasing you, you run.
Right.
And so we don't want to do that when we're prospecting. So you want to kind of come up with a way that really works to, I'm going to call it rapid fire prospecting, and what I mean by that is, if I've got a list of say 100 people in front of me, I want to see how fast I can go through that list. I want to find out on that list who's got interest in what I'm doing, who's got interest in what we're talking about. And so I might call people up and I'll say, hey, Katie, I don't know if you have any interest in this, but I'm going to throw it by you anyhow. And I'm just going to get your opinion. And really honestly, Katie, I'm going to say it this way. I hate being chased. I hate being sold to. So if you're not interested at all, please tell me right away, and I won't waste any of your time. And that way you don't have to feel like you wasted my time. And I'll say that to people. And what it does is it makes them feel like, oh, okay, Curt's not going to chase me. He's not going to harass me. He's not going to try and sell me something that I don't want. And it takes their guard down a little bit. I always, even in my clinic, I would do that because, a lot of people, you talk about chiropractic, they don't get a warm, fuzzy feeling about it. And that's the same thing with network marketing. A lot of people don't get a warm, fuzzy feeling when they hear you're in network marketing. They feel like they ought to run from you. And so if you take that and get their guard down, you say, I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not in that business. That's not what I want to do. But, Katie, would you have any interest in looking at something that I found? I really think that you might be good at it. You tend to be a people person. You're really interested in good health, and I'm not going to sell you any products. But what I want to do is I want to show you business. It involves the fastest growing branch of medicine, anti-aging. Would you have any interest in getting into business? Paul Zane Pilzer, he said it's going to be the next $1 trillion industry.
Mm. Yeah, I can take a look. And Dr. Curt, you've also mentioned before when we've been talking that sometimes you also say to someone, who do you know that would like to earn an extra 500 to 1,000? So then that's another approach where you're being indirect, but obviously if they're interested, they're going to say, yeah, me.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I'll do then is that if they say, oh, no, I'm not, and I right away, I just take it away from them. I like doing the takeaway. And you and I talked about this last weekend, but I'll do a takeaway and I'll do that with people. I'll pull it out from underneath them and I'll say, oh, okay, it just doesn't sound like it's the right time, but would you know somebody that might be interested in making more money? An extra $500 to $1,000 a month. And I think another amateur mistake is that they throw the big numbers out there right away. They say,
Yeah.
you know, if you could make an extra $10,000 or $20,000 a month.
Yeah.
And you
That's
know why that's not a good thing to do, right?
because it's unbelievable. People can't imagine in their mind that they could generate 10 to 20,000 a month. But if you say, you know, 500 to 1,000, that's believable. You know, they could see themselves probably doing that. They can imagine people are doing it. It doesn't seem over the top. It doesn't seem like it's being exaggerated and unrealistic. And then that gives you more credibility as well.
Yeah. And then the next thing I think that you ought to do when you're prospecting, if that person says yes, you know, a lot of times, I don't know, I'm gonna say it this way, and it might not sound right, maybe I'll say it wrong, but I think a lot of times when somebody gets that prospect that's honestly interested, they're like, holy crap, yeah, I found somebody, right? And they have kind of that moment in their head, oh no, now what do I do? Right?
Yeah.
When you first got started, isn't that how it was? It's like, oh man, I was just talking to this guy that was a big networker in another company, and he's actually interested. You know, now what do I do with it, right?
Exactly.
And so then the next thing that you do, you can either win that conversation or you can lose the conversation. And if you're an amateur, the reason you lose the conversation is you tend to chase the person away by talking too much. And my friend John, he used to say it's like giving somebody a drink of water with a fire hose.
Right.
And you just start dumping on them and dumping on them and dumping on them. And what ends up happening is you chase them away before they even get a chance to get started. So what I always say is that if you find something that's interested, next thing you want to do is like Eric Worre says, you want to say, hey, you know, Katie, I got to run. I got to meet somebody here in 5 minutes. I've got another appointment. I got to go. But, you know, I've got a recording I'd like to send you. It'll take you about 15 or 20 minutes to listen to. And I'm going to send it to you. When would you have a chance to give me 15 or 20 minutes to watch what I'm going to send you?
Probably tonight or tomorrow night.
Okay. Tonight or tomorrow night. Which night would be more appropriate? Tonight or tomorrow?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night? Okay. Early or late tomorrow?
Late. Probably I can watch it around 8.
Probably, or you will. You know, normally I find out that when people say probably, it usually means no.
No, I will. I will. Yes, I will.
You will. You promise me.
Yes.
I mean, if I send it to you, if I gave you this recording, would you listen to it?
Yes.
Okay, great. Because like I said, you know, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to chase you around. I mean, if you want to tell me no, don't worry about hurting my feelings. I'm a big boy. I can handle it.
Yeah, I'll
And
listen to it.
so you'll listen to it at 8:30 tomorrow. It's a 20-minute recording. So I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you at 9 o'clock. That gives you a little bit extra time, just in case the kids need to have a bath or something like that. I'll give you a little bit extra time. Okay.
Okay, great.
I'll call you at 9. And I do that because, again, I've run my life on appointments. I've, you know, being a doctor for 34 years, I've run my life on appointments, and I want people to know that I'm taking this just as serious as I did my clinic.
Right.
And the big mistake that a lot of people make, again, if you're an amateur, and I don't mean to make that sound bad for all of you that are listening to me, but you know, if you come in and you do it right away the first time, you're not going to look back and go, oh, if I had done that. And so do it right the first time, and then you don't have to look back at it. And a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll say, hey, Katie, I'm going to send you a recording, and then why don't we talk later?
Okay, great.
Right?
Yes.
But you see how that's not setting up an appointment. And when
No,
you
you
say,
just said
well,
later. It's very vague. It's non-specific. You're not really asking for a commitment. You didn't stipulate when, and you know, maybe I'll get round to it in a couple of weeks.
that's right. So if I don't take it serious, then why would you?
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Yeah. So as my prospect, you're not going to take it serious, and so that's just the wrong way of doing it. So for all of you out there that are out in TV land, take your business seriously. This is your business. I mean, there's people in this industry, you know, that are making over $1 million a month in this industry. There's people in Sizzle that are making over $100,000 a month, so they're making over $1 million a year. And I'll bet the bottom dollar, wouldn't you, Katie, that they take it serious?
Yes, they do take it seriously, definitely.
Yeah. And so I guess at that point, that's probably a good time to bring Roz on, because when Roz got started, I know a year ago, and Roz, I know you've told me that you really were looking at the business, but I remember last year you told me, you said, yeah, I'm not going to do this as a business. So Katie, after Roz comes on, why don't we talk about what to say after people have you've sent them that recording? So we'll do a break. We'll pretend like they're taking a day to go listen to whatever I sent them.
Okay, sure. Great. All right, great. Thanks, Roz. You're on mute. Hang on a minute. Hang on, you're on mute. There we go. You're unmuted.
What's my question?
So sharing your business testimonial, you shared it the other day, and you basically said to people, what you share with people. So sometimes you've said to me, when I talk to someone, you tell them how you weren't really planning to do it as a business, but how much you're earning, and yeah.
Thank you, Katie. So 2 words I picked up from Curt just speaking: have fun and keep it real.
Yes.
That's very, I like to have fun anyway. That's part of one of my highest values, is having fun. I've been in this arena before, and with the way I did it and the way I accepted instructions from people above me, it certainly didn't become fun. It was pressured. It was like, well, keep going, because you'll be earning $30,000 a month, whatever. I got addicted to the fantasy and went outside of my own values. I didn't keep it real.
Right.
So it wasn't quite so much fun at the end. In actual fact, I went through quite a bit of depression when it didn't work out, because I'd spent so much money on doing it. So that's the reason. That's probably a bit of a war story from, there was plenty of benefits in that situation as well. So don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now without having had that. So that's a bit of a war story. So that's why I came in very guarded and very, very real. And even today, I keep it very, very real. I'm not falling into my own patterns. I take responsibility for them, of looking into a fantasy or selling a fantasy, or pretending it's not real. And that's what I bought into, and I kind of got into the, I know I got addicted to it.
Right.
It became my whole thing, and whatever they said do, I'd do it, because I wanted this money, and anyway, that's why I was reticent in saying I'll do the business.
Sure.
However, because of that, I've had a very relaxed approach to people. My tagline, and I guess it's like what Curt was saying, is don't chase people. There's no way I'm chasing one person. I do not care. If they don't want it, I don't care. And that way, that's what I've said. I'm on the age pill. I'm loving it, loving how it makes me feel or whatever, and I don't care if no one else in the world comes on it. Actually, I think, I think they're the losers if they don't come on it. But that's my energy that goes out, and I can honestly say that I really do not care. However, from that approach, and that's how I've been, I still think it's how you're being as well. I think what we do in one area, we do in all areas of our life. That we're not sort of like, all fun in one area and then serious. I think we are who we are. Be who we are. Then take that to whatever area of life, apply it, be real, be honest, be really, really honest. So it just kept growing and growing. And at the beginning, it used to be like I would laughing and going, and my friends would go, is this the business you're not in? And we'd laugh. However, because of the income I have received, and I worked it out on Friday, I met Curt on the 12th of February in 2018, and it wasn't until about a few weeks later that I started, I wasn't sharing it, it started growing. So let's take even another month off that into March. I have earned, without putting any money in, without stocking up everybody's orders, or without having, $3,000 worth of products in my cupboard here, I have earned $30,000 in under 2 years. And that's real money.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to say that, because it's real, because it's honest, and I'm just keeping it real and honest. And the thing is, now I'm actually really enjoying being back in the industry. I'm passionate about it. I did love it before, but the way I did it burnt me out, and it just wasn't sustainable. So I want people to enjoy it. If they enjoy it and they see you're enjoying it and they want a bit of that as well. It's like, what are you smoking? I want some.
Yeah.
So that's how I've done it, and it's organically kind of growing. And of course, now I am sitting up and taking interest because I'm seeing the evidence of it being real. That's $30,000 in less than two years, without any of those tactics we may have used in other companies, having a shed full of products and, oh, I'm at this level, and really it's because there's a whole lot of products in the shed.
Right.
You know, it's not actually. So I'm very much keeping it very, very real. That's why I'm diarising, and I share with people what I'm earning, because I couldn't be more delighted.
Yes, fantastic. Well, what a great testimony. I just think it helps to give people a bit of perspective that, you know, it's, as you said, it's about keeping it real, because if we, you know, put the goal too big, then, you know, it can scare people away. I remember seeing a presentation when I first joined Tom's previous company, and I could imagine myself getting to the first level, maybe the second level, but I certainly couldn't imagine 10,000 a month. To me, that was, you know, unattainable. And so, you know, ultimately, we're always trying to we, you know, really want to help people get their product for free and generate a little bit of extra income and help people get to 1-star. So, you know, by keeping it at that level, you're going to do that. You know, people say, oh, well, but maybe it would cut off somebody who's really wanting to build a big business. Absolutely no, it wouldn't, because they would get to that first level pretty quickly and they will just continue on. And generally what happens is when you make it to that level or make it to the first level, you go, okay, let's go for the next part. So it's just,
yeah, because spherically, and then you feel better, you're delighted with the results, the products are working well, and it starts to show.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Well, that was an awesome testimonial. Thank you for sharing that. We've got that recorded so we can share it with others. And I really appreciate you getting on and telling us all about your experience. So Dr. Curt, would you like to jump back on? And there you are.
You bet.
Yeah,
I just mute myself out so that I don't have any background noise, anything like that. You know, and I really love Roz's story, because that tells you how really real it is. And if she shares with people, she said, you know, I kind of had a horror story from the last company, and it lets people go, oh, yeah, you know, I have my own story that happened to me, and people feel relaxed, and they go, oh, yeah, you know, she's telling what happened to her, and they might share what happened to them. And so that's really important. I think it's really important. And then they join her, and all of a sudden, you know, Roz says, you know, and now I've made over $30,000 without even trying. So since I made $30,000 without trying, holy cow, I'm going to actually start trying now and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Fantastic.
Yeah, you watch what happens in the next year, Katie.
I know it's going to be absolutely amazing. We're really just coming into an awesome period for Sizzle. With the new products being released, the upgrades that Sizzle have got planned, and, you know, the changes out there with other companies, it's just a perfect timing. So, yeah, it's wonderful. So, Curt, do you want to continue on with your next segment?
Yeah. So Katie, now that I made this appointment, it's 9 o'clock the next night. I'm going to call you back and I'd say, hey, Katie, what'd you like best about what you saw?
Oh, I really liked hearing about the mission, and that the company had like a purpose and a vision, which I found was quite unique. It was meaningful.
Excellent. So I can tell just by your answer, I can tell you're a person, and I'm going to say this to you, you're a person that really likes to help other people, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Right? And so you notice that I didn't ask you, did you get a chance to watch that?
Yeah. You just said, what did you like best?
Right? I tend to stay away from yes or no questions.
Right.
Right? If you ask a question that's going to be, it's going to be answered with yes or no, I've found that most people are like little kids, and what answer do they choose?
No.
That's what they choose, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a reflex for most people.
Yeah. Do you want to go to bed? No.
No.
Right? Do you want to eat your dinner? No. Did you brush your teeth? No. Right? And that's what little kids do. So that's what adults do too. So if you say, hey, what'd you like best, or where do you see yourself? You know, now that you've watched that video, because I'm just making the assumption you watched it, and I'm going to say, where do you see yourself? And Katie said to me, she said, well, you know, basically, I mean, I'm going to sum up what she said. I see myself helping other people.
Mm.
Right? So she just gave you an answer that you really need to know. And I say, oh, great. So I'm not going to go down the road of, hey, Katie, I'm going to help you make $10 million with this. That would be the wrong thing for me to say.
Right.
Right? That would be the wrong thing for me to say. So Katie said, hey, I really like helping people. I'm a healer. And that's her personality. She just told you. You don't have to guess. You don't have to beat around the bush. You say, you know, Katie, I found that money, a lot of people have kind of a hang up about money, and people have different hang ups. Some people might be $1, some people might be $100 and things like that. And so what I want to say is just this. Look, don't you believe that we were put here to have a lot of abundance?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and we were put here to have abundance so that we could help other people.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
because
You see, I'm going down your path. You already told me what path you want to go down. I'm just going to follow you.
Mhm.
I'm going to kind of help you go down that path. I'm going to say, you know, so wouldn't you think that if I helped you make an extra, you know, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 extra over and above what you're making at your regular job, and you know, somebody you know came along and they needed a little bit extra help in their life, that extra, you know, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month that you're making, you'd be able to help them, wouldn't you?
yeah, definitely. If I got to that point, for sure.
Yeah, and so, you know, with this company, I just want to share with you that we can entirely do that. The company, we've got a great compensation plan, we've got a great commission plan, and I know you're not really into making money. Money isn't a big deal to you, but you know, I'm going to help you make that little bit that you want to make. I'm going to help you make that amount so you can help not just yourself, but you can help everybody else that you know. And so I'm going to take you down that path. And you know, let me ask you this, Katie. How much would you need to make for you to say, yeah, I want to get started?
$1,000 a month.
$1,000 a month? Okay. Well, great. You know, that's pretty realistic, and it's actually it's a good starting point. See, I'm kind of telling you that you can make more, but I'm not going to say, oh, you could make $10,000 a month,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because again, that's kind of an amateur thing to do, right? And what does it do to most people? Because most people have never made 10,000 a month.
Yeah, that's 100,000 a year. Yeah, a lot of people aren't earning that.
They aren't earning it now, and they've been working at their job for 25 years, and they haven't made it now. And you're going to tell them that you're going to help them make that?
Yeah, they would find it difficult to believe.
Yep. So they're going to say, well, Katie, are you making 25,000 a month? You're telling me you're going to help me make it. Are you making it?
Yeah, not making 25,000 yet.
Right. But that's what people are thinking in their head. They're thinking, you're telling me you're going to help me make 25,000 a month, but I know you're not. And
Yeah.
and so all of a sudden now you become a poser again.
Yeah.
Right? They've thrown you back in the category of poser. But if you're realistic, you know, like Roz was saying, and you say, hey, I can help you make $500 to $1,000 a month, you know, and that's what you just got done saying that you want. So let me ask you the next question, right? Because I'm kind of doing what I call a closing interview now. And so I'm going to say, hey, Katie, that $500 to $1,000 a month, that's really realistic. You're being totally realistic. I want to just say that that's totally realistic, and that'll give you enough money that you can help a lot of people. And I might throw something out there like this. I might say that, did you know that according to statistics, they're showing that if you help people make an extra $500 a month, you could save half the people from going into bankruptcy.
No, I didn't know that. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so now you see how I'm appealing to that healing, that personality that you have. I'm appealing to that by bringing up something like that, and I'm kind of going down that path. So I want to make you feel good about your decision, right? So the next question is, I'm going to say, you know, Katie, how many hours a week could you commit to me? How many hours a day, actually, you know, or minutes a day, could you give me, real, you know, with a reasonable expectation? I know there's some weeks that you wouldn't be able to do it because, you know, things come up, the macaroni and cheese might burn or something like that.
Probably an hour a day.
An hour a day? Oh, wow. Would that be an hour a day, like every day, or would it be like 15 minutes here, half an hour there, 15 minutes here, kind of carved into the day?
Yeah, split up throughout the day, maybe. Yeah.
Perfect, because that's the best way of doing it. You know, if you try and give me an hour a day every day, guess what happens?
Doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen. Something comes up, the tire blows out in the car, things like that. Your dog's got to, you know, go to the vet and you don't have the time that day, and things like that. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to take that time, you know, maybe some days it might be half an hour, some days it might be an hour, but 5-10 minutes at a time, 15 minutes at a time. And we're going to help carve that time out for you. And really, I'll help you meet your goal of making that extra, you know, $500 to $1,000 a month, so you can help everybody. Again, you see, I'm kind of always bringing that up. I'm telling you again, I'm repeating back to you what you told me,
Yeah.
right? And so, you know, I guess, you know, based on what you're saying, you know, I'd really say you're being really realistic with it, you know. So the next question is, you know, how long do you think it would take if you got started? How long do you think it would take before you'd be making that $1,000 a month?
Probably like 3-4 months.
3-4 months? You know, Katie, I love working with people like you. So many people, they get started in life and they think that they're going to make, you know, they're going to be making a doctor's salary and they want it tomorrow.
Right.
And they don't want to commit any time. It's like they think they're going to win the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want to
Yeah.
win the lottery, you got to buy a lottery ticket. If you want to go to work and make some extra money and be realistic, I like what you're doing. And, you know, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to set up a time when you can meet one of my business partners,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it sounds like you're almost committed to get started right now.
Yeah. I would be ready to get started tomorrow. Probably not tonight because it's a bit late, but tomorrow I would get started. Yeah.
Okay, great. Early or late tomorrow?
Tomorrow evening.
Tomorrow morning? Tomorrow evening? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What time?
About 8.
About 8 o'clock? Okay.
Yeah.
So why don't we set up an appointment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Katie, you promised me that you'll answer the call when I call you at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm definitely keen.
Okay. And if something comes up, do you promise me that you'd let me know?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, because I take this serious, you know. I mean, my job really is this. I'll tell you, my job is to help you make that extra $1,000 a month that you want to make. At the same time, I'm going to help you get healthy, and I'm going to help you help a lot of other people, you know, so that they don't end up going into bankruptcy. I'll help you so that you can help them so they can get healthy as well. But the other part of my job is Katie, is I want to help you so that you don't need me at all. I want to help you so you can do this independently. And I want to do that as quick as possible. So, you know, if anything comes up tomorrow, would you call me?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then really, that's kind of how I do that close. And then tomorrow I'm going to call you up at that time, and I'm going to get you started.
Okay, sounds good.
You know, and when I get you started, I might have someone else on the phone with me. I might have, you know, I might have Roz on the phone, right?
Okay. Yeah.
You know, because Roz is another healing person. She's a healer just like you are. And I'm going to say, I might bring one of my business partners on the line with me, because I might have you working with Roz, my friend Roz.
Okay, sounds good.
Right. And you
Yeah.
see, I'm not gonna sideswipe you. I'm not gonna all of a sudden show up tomorrow with somebody else on the line, right? And we're not gonna you know, gang beat you up or anything like that, you know. So I'm telling you ahead
Okay.
of time that I'm gonna have somebody on the phone with me, and then that way, now yeah, when I say, hey, Roz is on the phone with me, it's not like you're gonna be, oh, well, what do you got somebody else on? Because, you know, if you go to a jewelry store and you're looking at diamond rings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking, and the salesman says, oh, I'm gonna go get Bob. You know what Bob's job is, right?
What?
He's the closer, right?
Right.
I mean, you've seen it when you go shopping for cars, right? When you and Marshall were shopping for cars when you were driving those hot rods around,
Yeah.
right? Didn't you have the closer come and, well, which one did you like, the red one or the yellow one?
No, but not that day, but I have had that happen, yes.
Yeah, and that's what they do. And you know what their job is? Their job is to get Katie's signature, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so people know that when you bring somebody on the line, you say, I'm going to bring Bob on the line, and it's all of a sudden, or I show up tomorrow night and I've got somebody on the line with me. You're going to go,
Right.
oh crap, he brought the closer.
Yeah, and people can feel intimidated if, you know, there's too many people on the call. They feel like it's kind of 2-on-1, and you don't want people to feel intimidated or overwhelmed. So it definitely would be really important to let them know that and make sure they're comfortable with that.
That's exactly how it is. Make them feel comfortable, because here's what happens, you know, if you make them feel uncomfortable, they're thinking to themselves, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do the same thing. I'm going to have to make my friends feel uncomfortable, just like Curt made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And they're going, I don't want any part of it. So guess what they're going to do tomorrow?
They won't turn up.
Well, they might turn up because they made a promise to you. But they're going to say, oh, I took a second thought about it.
Yeah.
And I don't want any part of it.
Yeah.
Right. But if you do it in a way where people, you know, because that's what people are thinking. I mean, think about it when you go to apply for a job, right? I mean, if I'm applying for a job, the first thing I'm going to ask is, okay, what do you want me to do? And if Katie said, oh, I want you to clean toilets, and next question I'm going to say is, how often a day do I have to clean those toilets? Right? I mean, or whatever it happens to be, you know, sell cars, or, you know, rake lawns, mow grass, whatever it happens to be. And then the third question is, then I'm gonna say, well, how much are you gonna pay me?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? And that's the questions that people are asking when you interview them for a network marketing company too. They want to know, okay, what do I have to do? Well, you've already shown them what you have to do. You have to make phone calls. You have to interview people. If I made you feel uncomfortable, you're going to go, nah, I don't want to do any of that.
No, that's
Count
right.
me out. Count me out. It doesn't matter how much you pay me.
Yeah, and I've had that happen before in the previous company where the upline that I had back then would make people feel uncomfortable, and then you don't hear from them again.
That's exactly it. I had upline. Well, I actually had upline in this company. Thank God they're gone. But I had upline in this company that would do the same thing. He'd say, "Oh yeah, get me on a call. You know, I'll do 3 ways with you." And he'd get on the call, and first thing he'd do is he'd make my person feel uncomfortable. I did everything right, and next thing he'd do is make my person feel uncomfortable. And I said, "Hey," I said, "you know, I'm never going to use you again for a 3-way call."
Wow. Yeah, no, we don't want that.
No, not at all. And that's why, you know, when you're working with your upline, when you're working with Katie, when you're working with Roz, I know just from knowing them and knowing myself, that's not what we do. We,
Right.
you know, we don't do that. We don't tell you, hey, go out and buy $1 gazillion worth of product, and, you know, and put that in your closet, and then tell your prospect, oh, here's what you got to do in the business. You got to make people feel uncomfortable, and you got to buy $1 gazillion worth of product and things like that. Not at all.
Mm. Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah, that's all the notes that I had written down on things. Was there other things that you wanted me to cover tonight, Katie?
There was one that was shared the other day, and that was when someone said, you know, they get the question, "Oh, is it network marketing?" And you had a really good response for that,
Yeah,
which I've read from Eric Worries.
yeah. So let's just you know, kind of role play that. So you know, Katie, you say that to me when I ask you, you know, I say, hey, you know, I got something I'd really like to take a look at. I don't know if you'd have any interest at all. You know, could we talk about, Katie?
Sure. Is it network marketing?
Yeah, yeah, it's network marketing.
Oh.
Oh, you sound like you've had a bad experience with it. Tell me what's happened to you, and I'll tell you my story.
Oh. Yeah, once, you know, actually wasn't directly me, it was my best friend, and they got involved with the company and then had to buy heaps of product, and they've still got it in their garage, and they felt like they got ripped off.
Yeah, you know what? I know how you feel. I felt the same way. And I found out that I just love this industry when you do it right. Let me tell you what happened to me. It's really similar, except I'm the guy with a box of product under my sink, right? And you've heard me tell the story before, Katie, but I'll say it again for those people that are on the call and haven't heard me say it. So I was new in my clinic. I just opened up my clinic a couple of years before that. I had 3 babies under the age of 4, and I was, you know, a couple $100,000 in debt with my new clinic, and everything was going great. I was busy, and I was really enthusiastic about my clinic. So I was putting in, you know, 12, 14-hour days working. And one of my best friends, we'd been friends since we were 6 years old in kindergarten, and he comes into town. He lived in Denver. I lived up in Fargo, North Dakota. And he comes into town and he says to me, "Hey, let's go out for lunch. I got something I want to show you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." You know, one of my best friends from grade school and high school and college. I mean, we've known each other, you know, 40 years. And so we went out to lunch, and he throws down this information from the A company without listing the name of the company, but he threw down the information from the A company, and he's like, you know, "Hey, I'd really like you to get involved with this, da 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 da." And I said, "Look," I said, "I just don't have the time. I'm a couple $100,000 in debt. I got to get that paid off." I said, "I got 3 babies under the age of 4. I got this and this and this. My business is really going good. I got to concentrate over here."
Mm-hmm.
And his response to me, Katie, was, "Well, if you're not going to support my decision, if you're not going to support my decision in business," he said, "I guess we can't be friends."
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
And wouldn't that make you feel bad if one of your best friends from grade school and high school told you that?
Yeah, it's a pretty awful thing to say to someone.
Yeah. So you know what he did?
He stopped talking to you.
Yeah. He didn't talk to me for 2 years.
Wow.
You want to hear the rest of that story?
Yeah.
So 2 years later, he comes back to my clinic and he said, "Hey, Curt," he said, "let's go out to lunch." He said, "I made a mistake."
Wow.
And I said, "Yeah, you damn right you made a mistake. Let's go to lunch." And we went to lunch, and you wouldn't believe what he did to me, Katie.
What did he do?
He said, "Yeah, I made a mistake." He said, "I know you're busy and all that." He said, "So what I did is I made the decision, and I should have done this 2 years ago." He says, "I signed you up. I paid for it."
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, you know, Katie, so you remember, like I said, I know how you feel, how your friend felt when they had this big box of products and all of that. I know
Yeah.
exactly how you feel, and I know how your friend felt. And because when I got that box of product delivered that my friend paid for, guess where it is today?
In the cupboard.
It's under my sink. I haven't opened it to this day. That was 30 years ago, and I still haven't opened it. I don't even know what's in the box.
Wow.
You know, it could be a dead bird for all I know. I don't know. I haven't opened the box, but
Right.
I left that box unopened to remind me why I would never do network marketing ever.
Oh.
Right? And so I'll share this with you. So Katie, what I got you to do is I got you to tell me your horror story. I told you mine. So now you and I kind of we're on par with each other again.
Right. I mean, that can still work. Like, for instance, in reality, I don't have a horror story. I never heard of network marketing when I was approached. Never heard of the industry or anything. So I had no preconceived idea. So I don't tend to get, and it's amazing because we kind of talked to that. I don't tend to get people say that to me whereas other people might have them, people say it to them a lot more because they have had that personal experience themselves.
Yeah, but don't be afraid of asking people, because even though you didn't have a bad experience,
Absolutely.
let's say that I was prospecting you and you never had a bad experience, you never heard anything negative about network marketing, but I said to you right away, Katie, I said, hey, Kate, before we get started, I really want to ask you, have you ever heard anything negative about the industry?
No.
Right? And I'll say, great. Some people hear negative things, and I just really wanted to share with you that I found out the best way to approach this thing is to do it the right way.
Right.
And so if I ever do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, would you tell me right away?
Yeah, sure.
Right? So you see how now, because I've made that decision to do it right, and I'm asking you, and you're saying, yeah, I'll tell you, right? You know that I'm probably going to make you feel really comfortable about getting started. Hopefully I'm kind of going, yeah, I want part of this. I want to be part of this industry. I want to be part of this group. I want to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Fantastic.
that's kind of how I approach it. That's how I like to do it. And just, but for those of you who are listening out in TV land and you're going, oh man, I mean, you could hear some, I mean, can you imagine some of the stories you could hear, Katie, if you ask people, oh, have you heard anything negative about network marketing?
Oh yeah, you put that. I've seen people do that on Facebook, and the comments just come flooding in like a tsunami.
Like
And
a
I just
tsunami.
think, that the person who actually asked the question or posted in the first place, they themselves must have a really negative experience. And I've almost been tempted at times to say, "Oh, you really had a negative experience. Can you share?"
That's what you should say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, it's kind of like when people come up to me and they say, hey, Curt, how you doing today? I mean, I really want to say to them, do you really want to know?
Yeah.
I really want to say that because, not that I'm going to dump on them or anything like that, but what I want to do is I want to say, ever since I got started with what I'm doing today, I am having such a fantastic life. Because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them to go, holy cow, what do you do?
Right.
Right? It's another way to get them to jump on your list because they're like, oh, crap. He's pretty enthusiastic about what he's doing, because 74% of people hate what they do. That's
Right.
the new statistic. I just read that. It's the new statistics. It was 90%. So 15% people have found that they actually like what they're doing, but 74% of people hate what they're doing.
You could even use that as an opening line. Hey, I read this interesting article. It said 74% of people hate what they're doing. Are you one of them?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And you could say, because what I found out over here, I like that feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. This is what I found out. And I use it a lot. I've used it so many times, I don't even think about it, right? I just, oh, God, Katie, I know how you feel. But what I found out about what I'm doing now, I probably would never go back to a traditional job.
Yeah.
No way. I get to hang out in Australia for the winter rather than going to the cold weather in North Dakota. Most of my friends, they don't even know what I do for a living. They just know that I get to travel all over the country. I have a lot of fun. I get to help people. And I get paid some pretty good money, too. You see how I covered all the aspects? I covered the people that like to have fun. I covered the healers. I covered the people that like to travel and have fun.
Yeah.
I covered it all in one statement.
Fantastic. Great. All right. Well, that was very helpful. Thank you. And I'm sure everyone on the call really enjoyed it. Thanks, everyone, for getting on. Dr. Curt leaves Australia next week, so he'll be doing the team call, as I said. Jump on this Saturday for Australian time. He's going to do reshare his presentation. So you'd be welcome to invite a guest. In fact, definitely invite a guest, because that will be a great call to get them on. And Tom and Liesl are at 9 o'clock Melbourne time, 8 a.m. Brisbane time this weekend. So another great call to invite people to. So this should be pretty exciting this weekend, and hopefully by the end of the week we'll have the new product. So thanks everyone for getting on. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day, and I hope you have a wonderful week. If you need any help, please get in touch with me, and we can connect to a Zoom call, phone call. So that'd be great. Okay. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.
Thanks,
Katie. Have a
Katie.
great night.
Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Katie.
Thank you.